Yeah, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Oh my God, we got it on the first try.
We did it. This is wonderful. And the camera position looks good.
Uh, are you looking straight at the camera or are you going to look at your computer
I'm
screen?
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look either at the camera and the computer screen when I need to go to it.
Okay. Yeah, the height is perfect.
Height is perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Background. Nothing in the background.
No, no,
Okay.
it looks like a clean place, Tetley.
Thank you, Calvin. All right. You ready?
Did you get any sleep?
I did. I slept really good. I was surprised.
Did you just make that fresh pot of espresso there? Because that looks pretty full.
Yeah, that's full.
That looks like a quad.
That's a quad.
Dude,
I,
we're
I,
only we're
that's what
only
I was
going
gonna.
an hour and a half.
That's what I was gonna tell you last time. Is I should have made a quad.
God, this sounds really good, Tim.
Does this sound good?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's pro level, right?
It's well with you, it's beyond pro level.
Did you last time? Because I Kev, for 21 months, I hadn't spoken that long. You
Oh,
know,
dude, you're not kidding, man.
my
Yeah.
pipes, my pipes at the end of it were like, "Bruh." So
When I
I'm
when I was narrating books, oh my God, dude, it was I was fried after the first day.
yeah. So I've done some exercises since. All right, we ready? All right, this is the Tuttle and Kline podcast, official episode 1. Kevin Kline, I'm telling you, this is exciting. I never expected the kind of response that we got last week when people were listening to the podcast and watching it.
The word overwhelming sounds like it's a negative, but it was overwhelming response. It was amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you know, is anybody remember? Does anybody remember? Does anybody care anymore? And that's what I was thinking. Is it going to still be there? And I love it. And Kev, I got to tell you this. We're on a bunch of different platforms,
Mhm.
but I would advise people watching the video platforms, YouTube. And is there anything else that's a video platform?
No, but I mean, on your social media and on our Tuttle and Klein social media, there'll be snippets. There'll be little, you know, I guess snippets is the best word.
Kev,
What a
what
wordsmith,
you
huh, Klein?
Yeah. Kev, what you did though with the video was fantastic. When you're
Oh,
in certain
thanks.
little people, I would strongly advise, if you can, is to watch it on YouTube. That's got great numbers across the board. Spotify. I mean, we're shocked at the numbers that we got on that first episode, but I would advise watching it because Kevin does a great job weaving photos and clips in to enhance the story.
It's fun to do. I really enjoy doing it, and it was one of the elements that we get to enjoy now is the visual aspect of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and come on, let's be honest. Telly, you're a handsome man.
I don't want it to be about looks though, Kev. You know that about me, is I'm embarrassed about me being so GD handsome.
Yes,
I
he
want it.
seems so embarrassed by it.
I want it to be about content.
Of
You know,
course, it always
speaking of
has
which,
been.
speaking of which, and we'll get to this later, Kevin. I need your help with something. I've
Yeah,
now had two people tell me I'm relaunching my stand-up career, stand-up comedy.
isn't it awesome?
I love it. Now, for those unaware, back in 2019, I started doing some open mics in Houston, and it was fun. It was a great time. And then COVID hit, and there were no open mics in Houston, so I kind of shut it off. But I'm excited to get it back. I'm excited to do it again. And
It's such a rush when you get up on that stage. It's
it,
scary as all get out.
it is the scariest thing, even for somebody who's been on stage and used to being on stage in front of tens of thousands of people. It's more frightening when you're trying to get them to laugh every 15 seconds.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
make them laugh every 15, 20 tops. But I've had two people in the business now tell me, "Hey, Tim, you need you'll never be successful as a stand-up because nobody believes in your pain because you're this tall, handsome dude. So you need to come out like right out of the box with some self-deprecating stuff, just ripping yourself to shreds. Otherwise, the audience is never going to feel for you." So that's something that I need your help working on with material. And we'll get to some of that later, Kev.
Kline, you're the king of self-deprecation. Let me help you here.
Kev, you know what it's like being garbage, and you're really good at it.
Yes, you've embraced the suck, Kline.
Dude, how's that for merchandising? Kevin Kline, embrace the suck.
I love
it. The response we got, I mean, some of the things that I want to throw out, I particularly like the smiling faces, genuine happiness. I look at them as two goofballs, high touch of class. I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of credit.
This is what some of us need in our life. These two gentlemen work in the mic. Thank you very much. That was nice from Glenn. And then Sandy said it was excellent. Hearing Tim's voice and Kevin's laugh makes the day better. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, and it was awesome. Love the bond of friendship you all have together. I'm thrilled you all are collaborating on this podcast. That was a cool chat about Steven Tyler. I was riveted.
You know what's funny about this? And I was thinking about it the other day. When we were working together, the joke was always, Kline, when we're done, and don't even think about driving by my house because I'm going to be sitting on the front porch with my shotgun. And if you come, and now look at us, dude.
I know
you can't get rid of me.
I know you're like, if there's a nuclear blast, there's two things that's going to survive: cockroaches and Kevin Kline. And he'll be like knocking on the door saying, "Hey man, we got to talk."
I would do it just to annoy you.
Yeah.
And it would.
Hey,
I know this isn't what we planned to do, but you just brought up the cockroach. And I was thinking about this last night. The conversation that we had yesterday and talking about the format, the game plan, merchandise, all that stuff. My wife has been very, very heavily involved in this. And
yes.
you gave her a very nice compliment. And I said, yeah, she's awesome. And you said, boy, I'd like to find one of those. And my response was, well, dude, the reason why your relationships are so tough is because there's sex involved. With us, there's none.
Yes.
Let me throw these two examples out for you, Timmy. Okay. Have you and I ever slept together?
Never. No, actually, we've shared hotel rooms.
Right.
Including the time at Grumpy's Hotel in Flatonia where I woke up and saw a cockroach doing terrible things on top of Kevin Kline.
See, that's where I'm going, because you and I are still together 28 years later, never had sex. and I got raped by a cockroach in Grumpy's, and that never worked out. Yeah, I've never spoken to the cockroach again.
The cockroach is just like, hey, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Didn't even send you flowers. It was
terrible. No, I know, man. I was waiting too.
By the way, a lot of people still give me crap for, letting it happen. I should have flicked the cockroach, and I'm like, nah, man, let the little guy have his moment.
Exactly, man. You let a dog hump your leg. Why not a cockroach?
Plus, that was Kline's first time in 15 years too. So why would I stop him from having his moment?
That's what we're saying.
but anyway, response is great.
Yeah.
We're excited about it. And, there's the thing that surprised me is multiple people DMing and commenting that they want to buy merchandise. And the logo is pretty cool. I got to admit, the logo's cool. Your wife did a great job punching that up from when we had it 20, 25 years ago or whatever it was. And I can't wait to see that thing on ball caps and hoodies and all that, and some t-shirts. And we're going to get that out as soon as we possibly can, make that available to you. And we're not going to sell crap. That's going to be our thing. Kev, I have a no crap policy in regards to merchandise.
God, brother, I agree with you 1000%, man. Yeah. I don't want anybody to slap a logo on a Hanes t-shirt. I want quality stuff. I want stuff that I would wear.
Well, geez, Kev, we're not going to sell a 3-piece suit Tuttle and Kline logo. Okay.
There's the market.
We're not going to have the James Bond tuxedo edition for Kevin Kline here. Kevin Kline's ridiculous in terms of some of the stuff that he wears. He's told me some of the expenses he's had in terms of wardrobe, and I'm like, dude, that's like the first 3 years of a child's life that you could have paid for right there.
Yeah, well.
And he's like, I have none.
I don't have any, and I need all the self-esteem support I can get. So
exactly. But yeah, we're going to have good, high quality stuff available soon. So thank you for the inquiries on that. I got to throw this out, Kev, because this came multiple times. This was not just a once or twice thing. Via comments and DMs after our podcast episode last week, people are very intrigued by the concept of me helicoptering you again. They really enjoyed when I used to do that in studio and love the video of it.
Yeah, well, if you're not familiar with the helicopter, if I get particularly snarky with Tim, or annoy him too much, he will pick me up over his shoulder, and he has no issues with vertigo or anything, so he'll just spin me around as fast as he can. I have vertigo. I get
Yeah.
dizzy. I will pass out and fall down. Yeah, our
Yeah.
former engineer Andy Hudak said that's a great episode, but we need more helicopter. And then Lacey Baker says, so "Where's the helicopter?" Why are
Kev,
people?
I
Yeah,
had 5 people DM me directly and say, please helicopter Kevin Kline. I say, that's a little hard because we're not in the same room, but we'll work on that. With today's technology and AI, it may be able to be done.
right. Yeah, I don't know why people appreciate that pain of mine so much, but hey, got to
For,
give the audience what they want, I guess, right?
for those unaware too, Kevin Kline was really bothered by it. By about the 3rd or 4th time, he went to the doctor and got a doctor's note that he showed me like right before I was going to helicopter again, saying that he cannot no longer be helicoptered because he suffers from vertigo.
Yeah, yeah, and what do you remember when we did the bat thing over at Birmingham Barons Park, and I fell
Yes.
into the dugout head first?
Oh my God. Kevin Kline almost took out, who was the pitcher for the Birmingham Barons that ended up being a monster years later? Kerry Wood, was it? Was it Kerry Wood?
God, I can't remember his name, but I remember, yeah, he made it to the show big time.
He made it to the show. Kevin Kline almost ended his career by doing a helmet first into his throwing elbow.
Yeah,
he tumbled so hard into the dugout. That was so funny, buddy.
Oh, I know it was. Yeah, not for you.
Yeah.
Not for him. Not for me.
Anyway, when he handed me that note, I don't know if you remember it or not, I dropped it to the ground and immediately did my best impression of the manager from Major League. When he saw Bill Doran's contract, I urinated on that.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, had to do it, Kev.
I know. I know. Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe I won't be driving by your house anytime soon.
No, you just stay where you are, cockroach.
Yeah.
You just stay where you are. Another thing, we got some DMs saying that if Timmy Tuttle, we talked about this, if Timmy Tuttle is a head taller and very muscular and in a small town in the state of Texas, he will, quote unquote, have to play football.
Yeah, we talked about that last time that, he's I saw him again yesterday. How big is he?
He's big.
He comes up to your chest now.
No, he is a big kid, and not only that, just very muscular. And Kev, I was playing ball with him after we talked yesterday. He's a lefty, and he can fire the baseball too.
Wow.
And that may be for those unaware. His mom does not want him to play football. I guess being a left-handed pitcher would divert him from that. But the reason she doesn't want him is, his brother Ricky played some football, got his bell rung pretty bad.
Yeah, but he's bigger than Ricky already.
Well, see, that's the whole point. Ricky took after Ben. Okay, Ben, his grandfather, shorter guys in stature, but they both have that same swag where they can walk into any room and they'll take any woman in the room. They have that whole confidence swag thing.
Yeah, they call that the big C, charisma.
Oh, big C, charisma. They both have that, and they have that same gait and that same walk. As a matter of fact, Kev, I was thinking about this because sometimes I just get caught like with stuff in my head. I was thinking the only way that this world could be saved, because it is, let's face it, it's taking a dump right now.
Oh, no kidding.
Is if we had Steven Gertzen, the guy from East Bernard that was my neighbor, the most righteous, coolest dude in history, benevolent, always do the right thing. If he was the president of the United States for like 10 years, we got to make him the president of the United States.
Okay, change the Constitution, make Steven Gertzen 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. And he would do the righteous thing and undo that Constitution thing after his 10 years, because that's how he is. He's like, hey, we got world peace now, kumbaya, everything's cool. I'm going to back out and go rice farm in East Bernard. That's
right. That's what he does.
And then we would have Ben Benitez, the guy with the swag. He would be the Secretary of State.
Okay.
And he would walk into any room with any world leader, doesn't matter who it is, Kim Jong-un, Putin, whatever. And he would just say, hey, this is how it's going to be. If you don't like it, I'm going to get the Chicano army on you. You know, he has that swag, which of course, you know, getting back to it, which is great for day to day, but it's not for football. You got to be big in football. And Timmy's not going to get hurt. Timmy will do the hurting.
But will he? Because he's so kind-hearted.
I see that's
the dichotomy right there, man.
Here's the thing is he'll want to be everybody's friend on the other team. You know, he'll be like, hey, let's be friends, you know, try to get some laughs. But as soon as somebody busts him, then it's like Hulk. He'll turn into the Hulk. He's got that gear. And he doesn't exactly turn green. I suppose we can get him to turn whatever colors his school colors is.
There you go. Yeah.
and then just go crazy on you like a Jefferson type way in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, yeah. Played by Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. So, my aunt's in that movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. For those unaware, Kevin Kline's aunt is Phoebe Cates.
Yeah.
For those unaware of who Phoebe Cates is, if you ever saw Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Kevin's aunt is the red bikini girl.
That's right.
Who popped the top.
Yeah. Doesn't anybody knock anymore?
Yeah. Doesn't anybody knock anymore? And Kev, I have to ask you a question.
Sure, please.
Before she became your aunt, you watched that movie.
Many times. Big fan of Spicoli.
Did you ever please yourself to your aunt?
I did not. I've never really participated in that activity.
Well, you're one of the very few Generation X males that did not.
Oh, believe me, I've said that numerous times. I'm like half of the population, which every male that's seen that movie. Yeah, for sure. But I don't know if that was her or a body double. I don't know. That was her.
No, that was her. Awesome. The story behind the scenes is she had to have the entire set cleared to do it. So it was basically just the cameraman and, you know, whoever was in the scene. Jennifer Jason Leigh was in the scene, and Damone, whoever played Damone, and that was it. It was just those people. Otherwise, she wouldn't do it. She was so nervous and freaked out about it.
Yeah, well, I don't have that chest, and I'm still nervous about going shirtless.
But I'm surprised you never got into the behind the scenes filming at maybe a Thanksgiving, a family Thanksgiving or gathering or something like that. That you didn't talk to her.
I've never hung out with her. No, never have.
So she's heard about her nephew, Kevin.
Actually, she has.
Really?
Do you remember our former co-host, Kelly Hunter, in Birmingham?
Yeah.
Kelly and her then fiance were on a cruise, and Phoebe was on there, and Kelly was laying out by the pool next to Phoebe and struck up a conversation. And Phoebe knew about the radio career.
Are you kidding me?
Not at all, sir.
Because we never got any acknowledgement. For those unaware, the reason why it's his Aunt Katie is his uncle is the actor Kevin Kline. Big Chill, Wild West. I could still kill him and want my money back for that one.
He won an Oscar for Fish Called Wanda.
Fish Called Wanda. I mean, brilliant actor. He was where was he present? Dave? Was that Dave?
Yep, that was Dave. He was
loved that movie.
He was also in Grand Canyon. I looked at that last night with Steve Martin, and I can't believe he acted with Steve Martin.
Brilliant Juilliard and Shakespearean actor.
Yeah.
And you've never even talked to him, really, have you?
I've talked to him once. I've talked to him 3 times. Twice on the phone. The first time was when I was in sixth grade, and he came out with Sophie's Choice with Meryl Streep, and then talked to him in person at my grandfather's funeral.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. You know why? Because you were starting to really do something with the exact same name, and he didn't like it. He did not like that.
Of course.
He's this Kevin nephew of mine, who's also Kevin Kline, same name as me, which, I have trademarked because I was doing like the Big Chill and stuff like that before, while he was wiping diaper poop on his face. Now wants to use my name and take over the whole situation. He's probably upset about that.
That's the thing, Tim. You and I both have pages on IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and I have to be listed as Kevin Christopher Kline, because if you do Kevin Kline, he's taken.
Please do not look us up on imdb.com. That picture of me right there coming out of the water park pool.
That's awesome.
whoever put that up and won't take it down, I will find you someday. I don't want to be the vengeful type, but I don't not like that. I have kids. Okay.
That's funny. That's a good
Yeah.
picture.
I have children, please. Kev, another thing we got from the last episode that we cut, we got a bunch of direct messages. We were talking about Taylor, Taylor Swift, and our long-term, relationship and friendship with her since she was 16 years old when she first came on the scene. And people want us to advise Taylor to dump Travis. They're concerned about that sideline tirade that he had with Andy Reid last week.
Oh yeah, he bumped him.
Yeah, bumped him and just got in his face and was chirping and everything like that. First of all, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That shows passion. Mm-hmm. That shows that you want to win the game. Again, a lot of this is coming from people who don't really know ball and know the game and everything like that. I want my players as a coach to have that kind of passion. I want them. And if he bumps into me, I don't care. I'll send him. See what Andy Reid should have done, even though the team was on defense, I would send him right out there and go hit somebody.
Well, you know what Andy said? Andy said it took him by surprise and he was off balance. He said normally, and apparently this happens not often, but sometimes in practice, he said, normally I'll see him coming and I'll give it right back to him. So, I mean, they have that kind of relationship.
Yeah. See, you don't know about the relationship. You don't know what's going on. And obviously there's no major problem because they won yet another Super Bowl.
Yep.
And in terms of Taylor, I think Travis, he probably knows his place. I would imagine that he's the bottom.
Yeah.
In that whole thing.
Most recognizable global star. Yeah, for sure.
However, it does bring up the question. Does Taylor Swift, Kevin, maybe have some songs already partially written about the breakup after the fact? I mean, has she at least spitballed anything or anything like that? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think she's constantly writing. As a matter of fact, she's got a new album coming out soon. And she's been sitting on it for 2 years. So, yeah, I think she's always writing. And, her modus operandi is relationships that have gone south.
Yeah. And it just makes you want to spitball possible song titles that she may have in regards to her relationship with Travis Kelce.
Do you have some?
Do you have anything? I got one. I have one I think is just golden. And I'm actually going to send it to her. I think she should use it.
Well, I mean, just off the top of my head, it's stupid. There's nothing funny about it. But I mean, she's like the master of 2 and 3 word titles, and they're always cryptic in message. So Power Couple?
Our couple?
Power, Power. And here's why I say that, okay? Because they are a power couple, okay?
Yes.
But his favorite thing to say when he describes something is, it's electric. Oh, that's electric. And so if she goes with power couple, that could be the cryptic message that I know it's really stupid. It's not funny at all.
No. But you got me thinking. See, this is why there's no bad ideas in a brainstorm.
Except yours, Kline.
Except some of yours, Kev. This actually gets you thinking just a little bit. It's like, because another thing he's known for is Beastie Boys' Fight for Your Right to Party.
Yeah.
And she could probably grab onto that concept. Fight for your right to get a restraining order. Just spitballing.
Yeah.
If you want to go.
I hope that would never come to that, but.
No. Do you have anything else? Any others you wanted to throw
out? Well, I mean, this one's equally lame. See you later.
That's not lame. That's not lame, Kevin.
Oh, really?
By the way, if you're the camera, I'm right here. If you see me looking that way, that's where Kevin's face is.
Yeah.
So I apologize if I have a left lean tendency when we do this podcast, because, Kevin's over here to me. So I'll do what I can to try to, balance it out. But just a heads up that Kev, that was brilliant.
See you later.
No, that's what we're looking for.
Okay. All right.
But to me, Kev, she has to use this one, and I will reach out to her. I'll reach out to her people. I'll even tell the Kelseys about it. Travis and Jason.
And Jason and Donna
Yeah.
and Ed.
Yeah. The time I had to 86, 87.
Oh, a play on his number. Yes. Nice. He was taking a bow. He's taking a bow.
Come on. Was that good or what?
The time I had to 86, 87. Nice.
Thank you. For those,
Dude, hey,
does anybody not know what 86 is, though? That's the question.
that means you get rid of it. You toss it to the side. Yeah,
when you 86 something, you get rid of it.
Yeah, you end it. So how would that sound back selling that on a top 40 radio station?
1077 The Vibe. No, actually, hold on. 1077 The Vibe. No, let me do it like Al Farb. Hey, it's 1077 The Vibe. Let me tell you what, that's Taylor Swift right there with her brand spanking new one. That time I had to 86, 87 on The Vibe.
Farby, our former producer, who's now a pretty big wig up in Dallas. We don't hold that against him, though.
I love Farby. Him and I have back and forth. He's a great guy.
Oh, cool. Tell him I said hi.
But what we're doing, it was great. The first time we had him on the air, he was our producer. The first time we had him on air, Kevin and I, we just talk in our own normal voices.
Yeah.
Back and forth. And we would have a conversation behind the scenes, a normal one with Al Farb. And we'd say, well, come on the mic. Let's talk about that. And I'd be like, well, Al, tell us what you think about the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo's lineup this year. Well, Tim, let me tell you this. The lineup looks fantastic. Looks like it's going to be great. I'll tell you what, George Strait going to cap the thing. It's like, what are you doing, man? Kevin, we would stop the show.
Yeah.
And we'd say, what are you doing, man? What's that voice? It's going, what voice are you talking about there, Tim?
Nobody talks like that.
Nobody talks like that. We're not doing the 80s puking thing. We're doing it. And I've actually listened to him. He's been on the air in Dallas, and it's a more normal. So he took our advice.
Well, and that's what happens as you evolve in your career. You become yourself, especially in radio, and yeah, you think you've got to have this announcer voice, and then you realize, no, people like real.
No, Kevin, let me tell you, it's so funny how far you evolved, because I was thinking about those first days that we were on the air back in June of 1996. I remember you stopping after like a first segment, maybe second or third show, and you go, Tuttle, what are you doing, man? I'm writing down what I'm going to say on the next segment. And you like looked at it, you looked over, he goes, is that word for word? And I was like, yeah, I'm writing down word for word what I'm going to say. He's like, dude, we're not reading, man.
Yeah.
We're talking. And I was like, gosh, I just think of how silly and goofy and stupid I was those first few weeks.
Because
thank you, Kevin.
You want to do such a great job, and you want people to like you out of the box, and you don't think mess ups are acceptable, but mess ups are real, man. They're part of life. And so if you're going to be real on the air, it's okay to mess up.
All I could think about is, how many hundreds of thousands of people are listening. And if I say something or do something stupid, it's over before it even starts. And I just wanted to have everything like down.
Yeah, that's the mindset.
And that's silly. There's only one person that can read a script, sound natural, and still be phenomenal. And that's George Carlin. George Carlin, awesome. He scripted word for word all of his stand-up comedy. It was word for word. It was a monologue. Nobody else could do that. And it's amazing how good he was at it. But, he was a phenomenal writer, and he knew how to make that sound completely natural. Outside of that, anybody else, you almost completely know that they're reading if they are reading, am I right?
Absolutely. And you bring up Carlin. This is something that I wanted to ask you about, and I didn't think we were going to have an opportunity to do this week. Carlin was a master wordsmith, and most of his comedy was about the stupidity of the English language. When did, and this harkens back to the parade for the Kansas City Chiefs, where there was a mass shooting. When did people start referring to suspects as bad actors? When did that become a thing?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think they want to define them as bad actors until they can figure out who they are and what their motive was and everything like that, so that they can have their narrative. Like if it's you notice that if it's the wrong narrative for what mainstream media propagandists want to get out there, they will completely change it, or they'll bury the story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
I think they alter the language until they can get the details on, hey, can we use this, to go after the guns, and can we do this to, shake down the Constitution and everything like that? Or are these one of our people who are totalitarian fascists that don't care one bit about people's freedoms?
but a bad actor, an actor is somebody who pretends. These people weren't pretending. They actually did shoot. Okay. And a bad actor, that's Tom Green, Pauly Shore. These people are not bad actors. I hate that term.
Yeah, I love that because, there I use that as like a political pop. And you're like, I'm just talking about language here, Tim. I want to, we're using words here, Tim. Sorry about that.
That's why this works, because he's got his set of beliefs. I've got my questions, and sometimes they meld and sometimes they don't.
They don't. Yeah. We were off kilter on that one. Yeah.
No worries, man.
Yeah. Okay, since we went there, I was going to wait till a little bit later in the podcast to do this, but I'm going to release the top 5. Remember the top 5 you had?
Oh yeah.
And I kind of like that. But I think, it should be top 3 because we're idiots and we can only really think of 3.
That's a good call. That's a real good call.
But in today's, I'm going to do top 4 because I want to build a Mount Rushmore.
Oh, okay. All right.
But real quick, let's go back. Last week, Kevin Kline launched this whole thing, top 5 football movies of all time. And you were completely right, Kev. Even us who, are pretty good and have a nice history with football movies, we left some of them out.
Well, there's quite a few. So yeah.
Yeah.
Namely, which ones?
My kids got on me for Blindside. There was some, Blindside with Michael Orr.
Mm-hmm.
And they also got on me on We Are Marshall, where the Marshall University airplane went down back in the 70s. Matthew McConaughey was the coach. That was another really good one that we didn't even mention. And I have top 5 list remorse for that a lot.
Well, but you just assuaged it.
Yeah, I know. And I'm sure that when we do this one right here, that there's going to be a ton of people going, wait a minute, you guys weren't even close. What about blah, blah, and blah, blah?
See, I'm nervous because I don't know what the topic is.
I know. Now you know how I felt last week. And then all the people that you've dropped this on during your podcast run over the years.
Yeah,
well, here's what we're going to do. It's going to be a top 4 because we're going to build a Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to call it Mount Crushmore.
Okay.
The top 4 stand-up comics of all time.
Oh, wow.
And since we mentioned Carlin, Kev, I got to put him somewhere. He may not be in the George Washington position on Mount Crushmore, but I at least have him maybe 3rd.
I think he goes up there for sure. I think that people would be appalled if we didn't put Richard Pryor up there.
I have him there too.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's break these down because you got to keep in mind we have millennials and we have Gen Z. George Carlin, his HBO specials. Well, actually, a lot of kids know George Carlin because he was the narrator for Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, he was.
So they know him from that. But, yes, that was all great with Thomas the Tank Engine, but you're looking at one of the most brilliant comedians ever. Social commentary. His HBO specials are some of the most phenomenal stand-up acts in history. And the time you and I talked to him, we talked to him like a year or 2 before his death, about 20 years ago or whatever it was, Kev. And that was a highlight of our career. We could not believe we were talking to George Carlin. And during the chat with George Carlin, he was testing material on us that he had just wrote. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah, we were shocked.
I was like, this is the coolest thing. And then we heard it on his last special he ever did before passing away, the stuff that he was running past us. And I thought, man, that is just one of the coolest things ever.
It was awesome. I mean, don't forget, he was also Rufus in the Bill and Ted's movies.
Exactly. Rufus in the Bill and Ted's movies. He was the tour guide. Yeah. before Keanu Reeves, and then whoever the other guy.
Alan Wilder from St. Louis.
Yeah. Oh, was he the guy who played Ted?
Yeah.
Okay. And Kev, you know, I've told you this before. That was a favorite movie of mine and yours.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. When it came out, were you like me and you thought, you know, Alan is going to be the bigger star here?
I totally did.
I did. I thought the guy who played Ted was going to be the bigger star. And lo and behold, the other guy, Keanu Reeves, he turned out to be a little something.
Yeah. Yeah. He's pretty good. He's got quite a career.
Quite a career. I mean, can you imagine you have the Matrix series and you have the John Wick series.
Yeah.
Two franchises that made him billions of dollars, yet he doesn't keep it because he's also the most generous guy in Hollywood.
Dude, a friend of mine, I did an interview with her. She's a stunt woman in Hollywood. And I asked her, you know how quarterbacks will give their offensive line Christmas presents? I asked her, does your star that you're doubling for give you? And she says, well, I wish I worked with Keanu Reeves. He gives out cars and motorcycles to his stunt doubles.
I think a story, and you can double check this, is he got like a $29 million bonus or something like that, you know, just as part of his points for the Matrix. And he literally went to the entire staff, you know, that shot the behind the scenes guys, the key grips, the this, that, and the other, and they split that money. Wow. $29 million. Yeah, so like each of them got hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Well, and don't forget, he also gives most of his money to his sister, who is, I don't know what disease she has, but he takes care of her.
Yeah.
Great guy.
He's been so generous with it that if he ever like ran out of money, he'd be fine because everybody would be like, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
You have made the karmic deposit, Keanu Reeves. Okay, back to our Mount Crushmore.
Right. So we've got two up there.
Yeah, you got to have prior. Kev, I have to put Eddie Murphy on mine.
Absolutely.
Eddie Murphy, if you have never seen his specials, Raw and Delirious, they are 1 hour of bang, 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 bang of a guy who not only has perfect one-liners, but does imitations so well. I mean, he probably is the most talented in terms of what he can do and bring to the table of any comedian in history. He's so versatile. He can do so much. And, you know, he's been talking in the past few years, Jerry Seinfeld, comedians in cars getting coffee or whatever it is, that he is eventually going to work on another set. You know, he's going to go do the open mics, and he's going to go do the stuff at some of the Comedy Cellar and the stores, the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, and build another hour. That'll be that will be the greatest thing ever. Him doing a special on like Netflix or something like that. Will it not?
It would be amazing because he's been away from it for so long. And yeah, you're talking about Raw and Delirious to me, two of the best hour-long stand-up comedy specials ever. And if you want to find out how much of an impact Eddie Murphy had on the comedy scene, listen to Chris Rock talk about Eddie Murphy.
And Chris Rock is, you know, he belongs. I don't have him on my Mount Crushmore, but I have him as an honorable mention.
Oh yeah, he'd be up there on an honorable mention for sure.
Yeah, but you know, Eddie, I got some ice cream. Yeah, I got some ice, and he would do the dance. I got some ice cream, just like he would do as a kid.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was such a good piece of comedy and material. I still once every few years, Kev, just like I do with the movie Scarface, I will watch Delirious and I will watch Raw because that is how you do it.
And it's going back and watching it after so many years. It's like, oh my God, I forgot that joke.
Yeah.
Because it is chock full.
And how much of it is still relevant today.
Absolutely.
Now, you know, some of the stuff that he did can be considered homophobic or whatever, you know, but you got to remember this is the 80s, and he's gone on record saying he doesn't watch it because of that. He was over the top on some of that stuff. He doesn't even watch his own stuff because he's like, yeah, man, I went too far with that. Mm-hmm. So just a warning. And I doubt there's any hypersensitive people right here that can't handle words. You know, because you more likely than not, you're not part of our audience, but just a heads up, if you do look through that, it was the 80s. It was a different time. And That's how they were doing comedy. Okay. Back to the Mount Crushmore, Kev. Who is your fourth?
Well, just my all-time favorite of ever, Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald.
I mean, in the pantheon of great comedians, I don't know if people would. I mean, comedians think he was the greatest of all time, but as fans, he was pretty polarizing because he never really left that '80s kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love Norm. I cried when he died.
Norm Macdonald. I did too. I got sad when he died. I didn't know he was sick.
Nobody did. He never told anybody.
And he, when he was in studio with us, remember that one time? I mean, you and I were like glowing in the dark.
Dude, I couldn't believe it.
I could, and you know, we were doing his. Remember, we were doing his act.
Yeah.
To him.
Yeah.
Okay. First off, Norm Macdonald. He comes in with whoever was the middle and the headliner at the Improv that evening with him. Okay, he's high. He had smoked some pot. Because that's what comedians do when they wake up in the morning. They do the quote unquote wake and bake. But Kevin and I were so fanboy. It was probably a little bit embarrassing to him because we're literally like spurting. Like, Kev, remember? Because he was Weekend Update guy, probably the best ever Weekend Update guy on Saturday Night Live. And I don't know if you remember this in 1995, after the OJ verdict came out. Norm Macdonald started that Weekend Update going, "This just in, murder is legal in California." And we did that to him in his voice. "Murder is legal in California." And he's just, do you think we made him uncomfortable?
Probably not. Because I mean, how can you get uncomfortable with people just loving everything you do?
I think though, when we were recording the interview and you and I did the fist bump with each other going, "We got Norm Macdonald right in the middle of it." I think that may have been a bit much.
Perhaps.
But, you know, and we were remembering arcane stuff too. Do you remember when he was on Saturday Night Live and they were doing the whole bit about, you know, like West Side Story?
Yes. Hey, what's with all the dancing?
You know, it's so funny. You know, West Side Story is a musical with dancing and everything like that. And it's about, you know, fighting and rumbling and gang, you know, fighting and everything like that. And, you know, they face off against the other side and there's Norm ready there fight and everything like that. And suddenly all the guys that are fighting with him on his side start breaking out into a song and dance number. And Norm's just standing there, "Guys, what are you doing? We got to kick their ass. We have to kick their ass. What are you doing?" Remember that?
I do remember that. Remember Celebrity Jeopardy when he was Burt Reynolds or Turd Ferguson?
Oh my God, such great stuff. Yeah, Norm Macdonald was a genius. I had him as my fourth on Mount Crushmore until the recent years, last 5, 6, 7 years, emergence of Bill Burr.
Oh, I did not like Bill Burr at the beginning when you tried to turn me on to him.
Why?
I didn't get him.
He is your humor though, man. That is,
oh, dude.
To me,
as I said in the beginning, I love Bill Burr now.
Thank you, because you hadn't seen his stuff when we were doing morning show together for all those years. You didn't see his stuff that much, and I'm like, Kev, this guy is talking to you.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, that should be your comedian, Bill Burr.
I love him. You're right.
And let me tell you this. Bill Burr, many years ago, came into the studio. And, you know, when I was introduced to him, he said, you know, Tuttle. He's like, "Tuttle, I have some Tuttles in my family tree. Are we related?" And I was like, "Well, I'd never heard of any Burrs." Well, my sister had done some ancestry checks, and there are Burrs in the Tuttle family tree. So I'm probably maybe like fourth or fifth cousins with him, which
really?
which I think should get me. I mean, Kev.
Yeah.
We've had him in studio. We also had a phone interview with him. I mean, I think that and me being like fifth or sixth, he should make me an opener at some time if I ever get some decent material.
Oh, it goes without saying.
When he required, like family wise, he'd be required to do that.
Yeah, you should be his Clint Howard. Ron Howard's brother.
For those unaware, every Ron Howard movie. And Kev, I just watched Apollo 13.
Did you?
Yeah, there's this goofy looking dude, strange looking guy that looks nothing like Opie Cunningham, Ron Howard. I mean, to me, that they are brothers in the same way that Schwarzenegger and DeVito are twins.
So true.
But he's in everything. He loves his brother. Kev, he loves his brother. And
Absolutely.
You could tell that there's pressure from mom and dad to Ron Howard going, he can't keep any job, Ronnie. I mean, he was a cashier for a while, but he scared the hell out of the customers. I mean, look at him. Look at him. I mean, can you have him play a beast or something like that in all of your films? Just give him something. But he actually has some good roles in some of the Ron Howard movies. Like this one in Apollo 13, he was kind of a key role in terms of, ground control in Houston.
Vito and Schwarzenegger. That was really funny, man. That was really funny.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to write that down.
This leads into, I think, your comedy routine.
Well, I'm not done yet, Kev, because I can't leave it at Murphy, Pryor, Carlin, Burr. I can't leave it at that.
Okay.
I have to have honorable mentions, and Norm Macdonald is one of mine. You got to mention Chappelle.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about Chappelle. He's brilliant. Sometimes like some of his raw stuff when he's just testing out material on an audience, that's not quite ready yet. But when he has his tight specials, that is really good comedy.
I'll have to spend more time with him because I haven't.
Okay.
Spent a lot of time with Chappelle.
And I know you feel this way, and this is one where you'll probably kick yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Miller.
Oh, man, totally.
How do you not have Dennis Miller? Kevin Kline and I, one of the first bonding things we had in common was our love for Dennis Miller's special Black and White.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's still one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Still one of my all-time favorites.
Black and White is so good. And I'm a little surprised not necessarily me, although I liked his stuff and we were good friends with him. Chris Titus is not on your list somewhere.
Yeah, Titus is Norman Rockwell is Bleeding is one of my other all-time favorites. Not for the faint of heart, but definitely worth consuming if you like comedy.
Oh yeah, anything
we're
mentioning here, some of that stuff goes a little bit dark.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a heads up if you're going to start delving into it. Titus goes a little bit dark, but we became friends with Titus over the years.
Dude, remember hanging out with him at that private Elton John concert?
That was so awesome.
I still talk about that to this day. How did we get invited to that? 150 people only.
This was probably about 20 years ago. We got invited to Las Vegas. We're flown out to Las Vegas. We're out there doing some kind of press junket. And remember over those 2 days we were talking to everybody, Hulk Hogan and the guys from World Poker Tour, Vince McMahon and
It was a video release called Elton John 40, and it was his 40 biggest songs live in concert, and that's what the big deal was, and it was being put on by Best Buy.
Yeah. So, and we were out in Vegas. That was a phenomenal time. I'm literally 20 feet away from Elton John as he's doing like Our Song and Philadelphia Freedom, and I'm just like, this is so surreal. And he's like looking at me too, man. He's like, for a couple times he was looking at me, and I'm like, Elton John's looking at me and singing like Philadelphia Freedom. This is so cool.
Well, then then he did a 4-song private performance for 150 invited guests in a white tent behind Caesar's Palace, and he did Leave On Live. And Tim, you and I were 5 feet away from Elton John on a red piano playing Leave On.
Yeah, I mean that was
that's
amazing.
A life highlight, man.
That was amazing. And then that was another one. It's something about Vegas, Kev, when we're in Vegas together. we got done with that, and I went out and played some blackjack, and I'm literally playing next to Chad Kroeger.
From Nickelback.
From Nickelback. I played 2.5 hours with him, and I flat out told him, hey, your stuff is lame and hackney and garbage, but I kind of like you as a partner in blackjack.
I like taking your money.
Yeah, and you know what he said?
What?
You know what he said? He goes, You notice, I know you might not like my stuff, but I'm betting $100 a hand and you're betting $10 a hand.
There you go.
I was like, well said, sir.
There's the difference.
Well said, sir. You
So,
do what you have to do.
in making this Mount Rushmore, I think you can almost do two different Mount Rushmores because we have not talked about, except for Bill Burr, any real contemporary, real like new comedians. And there are quite a few out there. I love Bargatze. Nate Bargatze. He slays me.
The Tennessee guy. He's the Tennessee guy.
Yeah. And then Jeselnik. He's my new favorite.
Oh, Anthony Jeselnik is brilliant. I love his stuff. Kev, God rest his soul. He's a contemporary, even though he's been gone for a while. Geraldo.
Oh, yeah.
His roast
Greg
stuff on
Geraldo.
Yeah, I love Geraldo. I thought he was hilarious. Kev, I know you may have an issue with him because he was kind of a jerk to us before we talked to him on the air. Ron White, though, tater salad. I love him.
Yeah, he's very funny, and he's Texas born and bred.
Yeah, but do you remember? Do you remember when we were right before we were going to put him on the air? He had a couple women around him. Yeah, Ron White, and pardon the language here. Keep in mind we're on a podcast, but those of you who have listened to us on country and top 40 or whatever, sometimes we're going to delve here. Ron White is on the phone. He's about to go on live with us, and he goes, "I got to talk to these radio guys, these fucking assholes. I hate these fucking radio guys." Remember that?
I totally remember that.
And we were like, 3, 2, 1. Hey, it's Ron White, everybody.
Oh, you remember Mitch Hedberg in the hissy fit that he threw because he couldn't get his cocaine before he came on our show.
That was it. Yeah, he died shortly thereafter. I have Mitch on my list, on my honorable mention list, because his stuff was really, really funny.
Good. Yeah, really good.
I also have Richard Jenny, Platypus Man.
We met him.
Kev, I'm surprised. We've like bonded with some of these people that I thought you would have somewhere.
Yeah. But there's so many good comedians. It's what I know. What the problem is.
And I know he, a lot of people think he's cheesy, but I love Gaffigan.
Okay.
He is a master of comedy in terms of LPMs. They call it LPMs in the comedic
per minute.
Laughs per minute. Gaffigan gets a laugh like every 9 seconds. He's got hit so tight and so right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And whenever I do research on comedians, I always like to, find out what makes them funny and what other people think about them. And the thing about Gaffigan is when he does that, he'll do a joke and then he'll talk in like a fake female voice.
Mm-hmm.
Experts have said that he does that so that he can get away with some of the more bawdy or darker type of humor because he's actually calling himself out. So it's a really, really brilliant technique.
Oh, so like when I did the Ron White, what he said to us before going on there, if I would have done the Jim Gaffigan, is Tim Tuttle swearing? I can't believe he's swearing.
I don't like him swearing.
I don't like him swearing. I like him just doing the straight top 40 or country stuff that I'm used to him doing. This, oh my God.
That makes it totally acceptable then.
That makes it acceptable.
That's what they say anyway.
Which is brilliant of him. And Kev, I got to admit, and I'll be first to admit it, for many years on the air, I would go into that voice of, "Oh, Tim Tuttle." That is derived from Gaffigan. I jacked that from Gaffigan.
Yeah, but it's not totally Gaffigan. It's, you're using your own style, your own voice. So
no, I got to give credit where credit's due. It's a complete piracy.
Okay. Where you at on Sebastian Maniscalco?
I love him.
Me too.
I love him. He's brilliant. He has some great stuff. I also like Mulvaney.
Oh, I love John Mulvaney.
John Mulvaney is really, really good. He does great work, and I enjoy it. Kev, you're right though, man. If I could do it, I can't do it because even though I think that way, and I know you think that way, I wish I could go as dark as Jeselnik.
Why can't you?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Because, I guess for many people, and you got to look at it now. I mean, for the radio career that we've had, 25 years, 26 years, 27 years, you're up to 30. We have built an audience. And I feel like I would be letting them down.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, gosh, I loved him at second date update, but what is he saying now? Oh my God. What's he, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but okay, so there is a comedian named Pete Holmes. He's brilliant. You should, if you haven't seen Pete Holmes, you got to definitely check him out. And he has a thing, and and especially he comes on stage and he says, "What happens in these four walls? It's free form. It's okay to have any kind of conversation you want in these four walls. Outside of these four walls, there's different context. Okay." And he uses a guy in the front row as an example where he talks about sodomy with the guy in the front row. Everybody laughs. He's like, now, if I have that conversation outside of these four walls, that's inappropriate. So inside the four walls, Timmy, I think you could get away with whatever you wanted to.
Oh yeah, I see, and I know that when I actually do my open mics, it's a little more edgy stuff. I'm not filthy. I'm not as a matter of fact, I've never used the F bomb yet.
Mhm.
But if the time comes and it would help punch a joke, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. The most classic example of appropriate use of the F word is the Miracle on Ice coach, Herb Brooks.
Yes.
The only time he ever said the F word to his team was when they were going for the gold medal game against Sweden. It was
Finland. It was Finland.
Finland. You're right. They had already beaten the USSR, Russia, and now they were going for the gold medal. And he comes into the locker room before the game, and here was his pregame speech. If you don't win this game, you take it to your grave. Your fucking grave. And walked out.
That's it.
That was it.
And hold on, Kev, just so you know, clarification, because I just watched Miracle on Ice and did a deep dive on Wikipedia.
God, I love that movie.
Yeah, I just watched that and did a deep dive in regards to, the gold medal, U.S. winning the gold medal in 1980 and beating the Soviet Union, which was the power team of all time. He actually said that they were losing 2-1 after two periods. Mm-hmm. And that's what he said, that exact speech, which I'll give you credit. You got the exact speech right before the third period.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, Ruzioni told us that story.
Yeah. Remember we were talking to Ruzioni?
Yeah. 20th anniversary.
How cool was that? I'm telling you what, man, we've been in the right place at the right time often, and that's really, really cool.
Totally.
Anybody else in terms of your Mount Crushmore honorable mention?
Check out a guy named Mark Normand.
I love Mark Normand.
Okay, you know who he is? Good.
I know, Kev, I've tweeted with him before.
He's awesome.
He was on Rogan a few years ago, and he said on Rogan that he doesn't know if he's any good. He thinks he may be a hack and this, that, and the other. And I tweeted him. I said, dude, you are tight. You are concise. You have well-written stuff, and you know how to deliver it. You're going to be a big star. I told him this probably about 3 years ago.
Love him.
On Twitter, and he liked my tweet and said, thanks, man.
Cool. Yeah, love him.
So there you go. That's probably another one that I'm going to go to once I have my tight five and my act ready, where I'm going to go, hey, remember when I was really nice to you and I gave you a confident tweet, maybe you could have me open for you sometime.
Well, here's two people that we had in studio, and they both gave you their personal cell phone numbers. I don't want to know if you've ever used them. Frank Caliendo gave you his cell phone number, and Bert Kreischer.
Yes.
The Machine.
And Caliendo said, hey, Tim, anytime you feel you're ready, I want to hear your stuff. And if it's right, I'll figure out a way.
Well, I want to hear your stuff.
Also the improv. Raymond has always said, hey, when you're ready, when you got your tight five, let me know and we'll work you up. So
are you going to do the improv?
Well, that's the goal. That's the short-term goal, is to have a tight 5 minutes that I'm like, okay, I know that this will kill. I know it's solid. And then, I'll do it at open mics several times to make sure it's right and really have it down. And then I'll reach out to Raymond at the improv and just be like, hey, buddy, I'm ready.
Dude, I'd probably have to fly in for that.
You can fly in for that one, right?
I would.
Okay. But you cannot come around my porch.
No, of course not. You'll have your shotgun ready.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
You fly in and then you fly back out, sir.
Get away.
Okay. So this is where and I'm gonna do this like every episode, Kev, if I can.
Okay.
Because for those unaware, I spent 25 years on the radio. Kevin and Kline and I did probably what 6,300 morning radio shows together.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And the thing, my whole thing, and I learned this early, and I give John Lennox credit for this. He was our boss back in Nashville. He said, Tim, he said, your goal should always be make Kevin laugh. If I, Tim Tuttle, can make Kevin laugh, then that should represent enough people in the audience where we can get a paycheck every other week that'll pay the bills. So that's why I'm running this my comedy act past Kevin because if I make him laugh or if he thinks it's decent, I have confidence in the material and I'll go on stage with it. And let me tell you, it's different. I know a lot of you are like, oh, Tim Tuttle, I have seen you bring up bands with at Reliance Stadium with 45,000 people. I was there. Kenny Chesney, you did that. You were very good on this. It's different being hype guy than it is, doing comedy and looking for laughs. It's completely different.
Way different. Scarier.
It is. I couldn't believe, and I loved it. It was so scary, Kev, when I did this. Back in 2019, it was, and I loved that scare.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I loved how frightened I was. I was with my girlfriend at the time, Laura, and she was looking at me going, is this the Tim Tuttle radio? Yeah, she was surprised. I was like, man, this is different. And it is, and I love it. Okay, Kev. Yeah. When I did my open mics, the thing that killed every time was dad stories.
Mm-hmm.
And the one I will finish with and did finish with, because I had a funny feeling it was my best stuff, was the Jonas Target story. Do you remember that?
I do.
I told this story on the air a couple times. This is from 2007. And I don't know if you remember Brazos Town Center in Rosenberg, Kev. You remember that?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was not as big then as it is now.
All it was, seriously, all this was the J.C. Penney on the south side, and on the north side of 59, it was Target. That was it.
Yeah.
Jonas is 3 years old, and and I have this in my act. I was like, hey, my son's a fan of Thomas the Tank Engine. His favorite character was Percy. He runs into Target straight to the toy section screaming, I want Percy. I want Percy. Of course, as a 3-year-old, he struggled with his R's. Yeah, at first I was nervous that somebody was going to call Child Protective Services, but some old man diverted attention by saying, yeah, son, don't we all? And afterwards, I'm so freaked out by this. Afterwards, I'm in the parking lot with Jonas, and I'm putting him in his car seat, and I'm saying, son, it's Percy. It's Percy. Jonas looks at me and says, Dad, chill. I know it's Percy. Now take me to Walmart, and this time don't be such a cock block.
That's great.
Yeah, that killed.
I hadn't heard the last part of it. That's great.
Yeah, I added that tag. To it.
Yeah.
Because they were laughing so hard when I was up at the open mic, and that just popped in my head. And I was like, and that got even a bigger laugh than yes, son, don't we all?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was stoked about that.
It's a good end.
Yeah. I put that into the act, and then I did it another time. And that was the biggest laugh. That I'll finish with that unless something comes up. And I've got one. Go ahead, Kev.
Do you know why that's such a great joke?
Why is that such a great joke?
Because number one, it's relatable to anybody who has had a kid. Okay. So parents, but what makes it a great joke is the surprise at the end that the 3-year-old actually has his game on.
Yeah.
Nobody would expect that. That's what makes the joke hilarious.
Now, obviously, that's not true. I mean, Jonas didn't say that. He's legit struggle with his R's. I just want to clear, because Jonas will listen to this later, and he's like, Dad, my friends at Texas State, did not, what I'm saying, just in case.
Yeah.
He never said that.
That's the breakdown of the joke. That's what makes it so hilarious. So
Yeah,
good job, man. Great job.
Right.
Great joke.
Is that a good joke?
That's
Good
solid.
stuff.
Yeah.
And Kev, that one right there, there were two guys when I delivered that. They were the hosts of the open mic, and they said that I can sell that chunk to like big time comedians
As a joke writer. Yeah.
Yeah, as a joke writer, they said I could sell that, and they would probably pay me some decent amount of money. But then again, it's theirs from that point on, and I could never use it again.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, hey, no thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just in case I want to use it in the future.
Well, you would want to use it in the future,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, maybe when you're 90 and you're done with touring and, then you can sell it because it's a timeless joke. Right.
Well, if I let me tell you this, if I never make it, and that's possible, I'll never make it, never do anything. And, that's a 95% probability because it's so hard. Then I'd probably sell it.
Okay.
All right. So now that on that one, Kev, I've done some writing in regards to another incident. This one was with Timmy. When Timmy was 3 years old. There's something about when kids are 3 years old.
3-year-old Tuttles.
Yeah, this was 3-year-old Timmy. Hold on a second.
Uh-huh.
Let me sip some water here real quick. Now, this is a true story about when Timmy was 3 years old. We went to her volleyball game. She played for Texas Tech. They were playing UT, the Longhorns, at the famed Gregory Gym in Austin.
Now, her being your oldest daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those unaware, University of Texas volleyball is massive.
Mm-hmm.
They just won a national championship yet again, wow. second year in a row, a couple months ago. And when you go to one of these, as a matter of fact, they're one of the few self-contained programs where they don't need any money from football or basketball or anything like that. They are profitable on their own. They're a massive program, Kev.
Yeah, I knew they were a big-time program when they beat Nebraska.
Yeah, and Audrey's teammate from Houston Skyline, Maddie Skinner. Audrey roomed with her on the road. She'd stay in our room with us sometimes when she played in Orlando and everything like that. She has won now 3 national championships in a row because she was on the University of Kentucky team.
Dang.
So she's played 3 years. She's got 3 rings.
Wow.
How cool is that? Maddie Skinner.
That's strong.
She, of course, is the daughter of Brian Skinner, the guy who played at Baylor and for the LA Clippers. I think he was the first pick in the draft back in the 90s. Yeah. Yeah. So
nice pedigree.
You see what's going on there. I mean, Maddie has Brian Skinner as a dad. Poor Audrey had Laffy boy Tim Tuttle, the radio guy.
Well, it worked out for her. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
2-time All-American in high school. Anyway, this is a true story. We were at that match, Kev. And when the first set is done, people who need to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. The men's bathroom was absolutely packed. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, I took my son to a very crowded men's bathroom. And since he's a 3-year-old with no filter, he finishes peeing, walks over to my stall, looks in and says, "Daddy's got a big pee-pee." Now, mind you, it's not really that big, but to a 3-year-old, it's probably a boa constrictor. Full disclosure, I got to do this right now. I am a grower, not a shower. Okay. I can actually remember a woman I was dating saw me in the natural state just before our first intimacy session, and she got that look of disappointment on her face. Now, not wanting to waste $288 I'd spent on 2 dinners and some flowers, I immediately walked over and said, "I want to show you a magic trick. Play with my left nipple just a little bit." Ta-da! Now, it's not exactly Rocco Siffredi, but if the video of our next if our next 30 to 40 minutes together ever got out and it went viral, it's not going to hurt me at all.
Rocco Siffredi.
Yeah.
There's an arcane reference.
As a matter of fact, right now for the low price of $19.99, you can buy that video. Just kidding. Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
The left nipple trick was discovered by my ex years ago. I think she was looking for a way to finish a session and get the large sweaty mammal off of her. After an exhaustive search, she came upon the left nipple, which turned out to be her own personal, slightly discolored trigger stone that, when pressed, opened the wall and allowed her to run to freedom. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. Me with my penis out next to my son in the men's bathroom. So he says, "Daddy's got a big pee-pee." The huge crowd in the bathroom burst out in laughter. So, of course, being an attention junkie like his dad, he says it again. "Daddy's got a big pee-pee." Even bigger laughter. Now, at this point, it's time for attention junkie senior, me, to get into the act and say, "Yeah, son, and that's the number one reason why I can't believe your mom left me." Also, this event has completely changed my position on a very controversial topic. I am now completely for unisex bathrooms. Anytime I'm with my little hype man, we always go trolling for unis.
Trolling for unis. I like that.
Is that a good chunk?
I like that. Trolling for unis. That's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
Trolling for unis.
Is that a decent chunk?
I like it. I like that.
My only worry is, when I do the open mics, it's usually, 21 to 35. They might not know who Rocco Siffredi is.
True. You might want to do some research and maybe update that. But for the ones like like you and I always say, for the one that gets it, it pays off. But
that's all I need, Kev, because you laughed like hard.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even, to me, a laugh position, and you busted out, which that's always a bonus, because I'll do a pause and let that laugh go out, and then that can be contagious with other people around the room.
Well, I busted out because Rocco Siffredi is so arcane, and that's what we loved about Black and White from Dennis Miller that we talked about earlier, all of his arcane references. And like we said, for the one that gets it or the few that get it, they're going to appreciate it. But yeah, you might want to, for a younger audience, you might want to punch that up with somebody more current.
Find their coxman.
Yes, find their coxswain.
Hey, okay, and even with the Percy one before and this one, Kev, I got it timed out. There should be every 15, 20 seconds maximum. There's a laugh. There should be.
Okay. Yeah.
So I got it timed out pretty good. But what did you think?
I thought it was great. I love the especially the two ends, because I didn't see either of those coming. Yeah. And that's what makes the jokes really hit, is when you don't see them coming.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay, good. See, and I'd like to put that before, the Percy Thomas the Tank Engine. Because there's something I want to insert in there, that a tag in there, because now they know that. Let me see. I'm trying to remember what it was. I want to put in. Somebody comes in. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. But anyway, it allows me to add another tag and get another laugh out of the Percy thing.
Okay.
Because it's a recall moment.
Oh, recalls are always strong.
Recalls are strong.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too. If you bring up something from earlier in your set, as a recall moment, that is a hit with audience. That gets you usually an easy laugh, even if it's not like your dynamite A material.
Mm-hmm. No, quite a few comedians will end their set with a recall moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're strong. They're really powerful.
Okay, all right. So you like my chunks right there?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay,
like the surprises.
Okay, good, because I'm going to do this like every time. I'm trying to build just the best 5 minutes. And what you heard there, right there, was probably about a minute and a half, maybe a minute 45.
Yeah, I knew it clocked under 2.
Yeah, about minute 45 of the 5 minutes that I'm looking for. So we're going to build it piece by piece right here, Kevin Kline, on the Tuttle and Kline podcast.
Okay.
And then I'm going to deliver it. I'm going to record it, and I'm going to let you know what the audience thought of it.
But I'm going to go back, once this posts, I'm going to go back in the 2 jokes that you did off the cuff earlier in in this podcast that just floored me. The DeVito and Schwarzenegger, and then the one very, very early in this, and I can't remember it. That's why I need to go back and listen to it. That got me really good, man.
Well, I got to be completely honest, Kev. One of the reasons I'm doing this podcast is material for my stand-up. But Bill Burr, I listened to his podcast.
Yeah.
For years. You can hear him just riff something, and then a couple years later, it'll be on a special. It's like, oh, I remember when he just like riffed that out of nowhere on his podcast, and now it's getting a massive laugh. 20,000 people in the audience because he's a theater guy now. He plays the big venues.
Sure, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's one of the motivations for me doing this podcast is to do that.
And that just deflated me because I thought you wanted to do the podcast because you missed me so much.
That's totally
That's B.
That's 98 of it. Okay, the whole stand-up comedy thing is 2%.
Yeah, right.
Actually, to be completely honest, 45% of it is I miss what we did.
Yeah.
40% of it is so I can get material for stand-up, and 15% of it is I love the ego boost.
Use that, man.
I do. I mean, over the last week, people commenting and DMing me and stuff. Hey, man, what can I say?
Dude, it is so flattering. It's so flattering. It's so humbling. And
yeah, my mom said I love you to me once. Okay.
Yeah.
That was when I graduated high school and I was getting the hell out when I was 17. She said I hate you like 3 or 4 times. So anytime I can get love like that,
the hate was motivation, though, man. The hate, it drove us. It drove us.
Of course, it screwed me up, and I can't keep a relationship now. Yeah, my superpower. I get all these beautiful women, but I can't keep them. But that's another story for another podcast.
But look on the bright side, because you get so many beautiful women and you can't keep them, that allows you to get more beautiful women.
It's numbers.
There's your
I don't know.
Your positive affirmation.
There's one, maybe 2 of them that I wish it would have worked.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, we're not going to go. Kev,
no therapy session. This is comedy only.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay, but yeah, you're right. I'll listen back and I'll definitely scour it and put it in my notes. I mean, I've got several chunks that I want you to go over, and we'll do another one next week, including I've written a self-deprecating chunk already.
Really?
One where if the audience won't like me because what pain can you be in, this right out of the box will help. So we'll do that one next week next week.
Everybody has some sort of pain. Everybody has it.
Oh my God, Ken. And trust me, I'll cover my pain in a more honest way than I've ever covered it in my next chunk. And you're going to love it. It's written in a comedic way. So
can't wait.
I love it. I'm glad that you're into this. I was worried that you'd be like, oh, great. Now you get to listen to Tuttle do comedy. Great.
Well, but you've always made me laugh. So
okay.
I talked about it last episode that we did, and how you're the only person I've ever met whose mind is constantly 110 miles per hour. And I never thought you could get into meditation because of that. I'm trying to think of somebody else. I know that you would say Ron Bennington on this one, the guy that you used to work with, but I don't know if I've met anybody quicker with a line.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's something that I have been blessed with.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's the copious amounts of caffeine, what that may have to do with it, but yeah, man, I've always been able to, and that's a childhood thing too, because we ripped on each other when we were kids, and you got to be ready.
Yeah.
And the friends that I had, the basketball teammates and the baseball teammates, football teammates, it was rip fest. And if you weren't ready, you were dead.
Yeah. And if you couldn't take it, you were dead too.
No, you always got to be able to take it.
Oh yeah.
I can take anything.
Yeah.
I mean, at least right there, I'll go cry later.
Norm was very quick too. The Norm Macdonald was one of the reasons why I liked him so much.
Yeah.
Go watch him on Conan. Any of the Conans that he did.
I was always in awe. Yeah. If you look at it, most comedians, Kev, they're good after they write something. They have to write something. But guys like Norm Macdonald, and thank you for putting me on that too. I've always took pride in being able to think of something quickly. But Ron Bennington from the Ron and Ron show, and Ron and Fez, both in Florida and on Sirius and XM. I could not believe when I worked with him in Daytona Beach back in the late 90s, I could not believe how quick he was.
Two other people that come to mind is quickness. And if you ever saw their stand-up, you wouldn't be able to see Bob Saget anymore because he passed away the same year as Gilbert Gottfried and Norm Macdonald. He did not have a script prepared during his stand-up. And Harlan Williams, we've had Harlan in a couple of times.
Love it.
Oh my God, dude. His whole act comes out and he just starts talking to the audience, and it's just one quick line after another.
One of the funniest things, you remember this one? He goes, I need to get in shape. I'm shooting a movie, so I'm doing 8-minute abs right now. And it's still a little bit too long. So here's what I'm working on. 4-minute abs. And I just remember, he pulled that out of his butt, when he was talking to us. And then it ended up being in his act like a year or two later.
It ended up being in There's Something About Mary.
Was that in there?
That was in there. He's the hitchhiker that Ben Stiller picks up.
That's right.
8-minute abs.
Okay, before you guys ever heard Harlan Williams and There's Something About Mary do the 8-minute abs, he did it in studio or on the phone with us in Nashville. That's funny.
Yeah, in the movie it was 7-minute abs, and Ben Stiller says, "Well, what about 6-minute abs?"
Yeah.
No, 7. No. 7's the key number. 7 little chipmunks sitting in a tree eating Uncle's peanut butter for you and me. It's something like that,
I love
Step into my office. You're fucking fired.
Classic.
Yeah, big time.
Hey, Kevin, I need to commend you on something.
Okay.
Something I noticed since we split and went our separate ways a few years ago is you're actually really starting to do some handyman stuff.
I am.
And I can't believe it. I mean, you were used to be like in awe when I would tell you, okay, I just completely changed the garage door opener. I opened it up, did all the gears, did all of that stuff. And, the time that I completely rewired and the electric set up at my ex's place, and I gave her a switch instead of the turny little knob thing. Yeah, here's Mr. Handy Guy, the turny little knob.
Yeah, he's an expert.
I was going to sound really good. Don't worry about that, honey. I'm going to get this turny little knob thing out of there. And it'll just be an up and down switch.
Technical jargon, don't mess with it.
But yeah, and Kev, I told you a long time ago that you can do anything via YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, I all of this stuff is just me looking up YouTube how to do it, and I do it. And I because of that, I've completely pulled out of healthcare.
Really?
Because I can perform any procedure on myself now.
Of course you can. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm on my 4th surgery. How do I look?
Yeah, what kind of tools do you use for those surgeries? If you're using the turny little knob thing for electric, I'm using that
sharp little cutty thing.
That's funny. Really good.
But you're starting to do it too.
I almost died yesterday.
Did you really?
I am not kidding you, Timmy. I almost died yesterday.
Oh my God. Hold on a second. I can't allow you to die for 10 more years.
Okay. Yeah. No.
We're going to do this podcast. And if we end up doing a radio show, we're going to do 10 more years. So Kev, in 2034, die all you want.
There you go. Yeah.
Just die all you want, you son of a gun. But right now you cannot.
I had my steel chainsaw out yesterday, and I was cutting down a tree, and it kicked back on me. And if I would not, it was really quick, but I saw that it had the potential. So if I didn't move my head, it would have decapitated me.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Okay. When you do this stuff, please tell me that you're setting up a tripod with your phone on it and you're recording. Just do that at least.
Oh, I'll start doing that. But yeah, you're seeing video right now of me cutting down a tree with my chainsaw. But yeah,
Oh,
dude, it was so horrible. But the other thing too is it happened so quick. I didn't even turn the chainsaw off, and I didn't push the safety. So yeah, if I would have fallen or anything, yeah, that could have been
yeah.
disastrous. Yeah,
Wow. See, you don't mess around. You got to have solid footing when you're dealing with the chainsaw. I think it's somewhere in the instruction manual.
it is. It is. But no, but I had solid footing. It was just it kicked back, and I had to react so quickly. I didn't prepare an out.
Yeah, Kev, that reminds me of a time when I took my kids, Audrey and Jonas. Maybe Jonas was 11, Audrey was 13 or whatever. I took them to Athena Gun Club,
Okay, yeah.
and Audrey was firing a 9 millimeter. And after she fired it, it slipped out of her hands, and the barrel started like pointing toward her and stuff like that. And I was like, "Oh my god, holy cow!"
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, how close you are to that. And I'm like, Audrey, just hold it, please. Just hold. Don't do that again. And then she's fine. She realized what the kick would do, because a lot of it is you don't know what the kick of a weapon will do.
Of
And
course.
the kick flipped on her, and that barrel went backwards and pointed at her with her fingers still in there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I'll
a
never
scary.
forget that. Yeah. And that reminds me with you with it, just you lose and that's it.
Well, if you ever want to know how much your life is worth, mine's $268. Okay. And that's how much it would cost to bring a professional in to cut down some of these trees, 268 per, and I'm too cheap to do it. So my life is worth $268.
You're not going to pay the 268.
No, I'm going to do it myself. Maybe die in the process, but hey, we saved $268.
That's so funny. Did you have fun? Did you have fun doing it?
Tim, I love it. I
I do.
absolutely love yard work, and I
I do
have no
too.
Hispanic in me.
I tell you, Kevin, and I live in an apartment, so the maintenance is all done for you.
Uh-huh.
But that's one thing I miss. I miss the projects. I miss
Yeah.
doing the little projects, and sometimes I'll look around and I'll go, what can I do myself? And there's just there's nothing.
Nothing.
So what I do is I go trolling the neighborhoods, and I'll see like somebody's shutter like bent sideways. I'll knock on the door.
Hey, can I get that for you?
Excuse me, you don't know me, and I know it's going to sound weird. I'm not a criminal. I'm not casing the joint here, but I would really love to get that shutter straightened for you. It'll take me about 5 minutes.
There you go. That's not OCD or anything, is it?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh my God, I can't. Kev, are you getting worse? Because I'm getting worse.
Oh, I am too.
I am so OCD right now. It's like this past weekend, I had Dal and Timmy with me,
Mhm.
and literally I follow them with a washcloth everywhere they go. I'm serious. I like they'll get done with like they'll eat like 3 potato chips, and I'll be scooping the crumbs, I'll be getting the broom out. It's terrible. It's bad. I'm
Well,
too OCD.
well, the thing to look forward to, Tim, is when you're 75, they'll be doing the same thing to you.
It all comes around, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Yeah.
Kids, I remember those diapers I changed. Well, now you're going to change daddy's diapers. I could just see Audrey right now watching this, listening to this or whatever in San Marcos going, Jonas, you got poopy duty.
That's right. I'll take mom. You take dad.
They're divvying up. They're divvying up right now.
That's right.
All right. What else we got, Kevin Kline?
Nothing, man. What do you got coming up this week?
What do I have coming up this week? Well, I'm going to continue to work on my comedy act.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to run past another chunk for you. I may just jump out sometime this week and do an open mic. I don't know yet. I want to make sure I have the material. I may wait till next week to jump on stage. So we'll see.
Well, if you go on stage, record it so that we can hear it. And remember, Tim, the only way you get good at that is doing it.
I know. I know. And I almost want to just like develop my own venue, you know?
Okay.
I don't know how to do that though. I don't have a lot of friends.
Develop your own venue. How?
I don't know. I would like to just do an act right outside at the pool here and just, invite the neighborhood or something like that. But
Do it. Do it. That'd be awesome.
should I?
Yeah. Remember what they used to do when during COVID, they would do rooftop comedy specials.
Hey, Kev, you know what I was also thinking of doing? And I was going to make this like a bit that I did on YouTube or something like that, is just go and test my chunks on complete strangers.
Oh my God, that would be so. You talk about scary.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
do it.
absolute. Like, see, the good thing is when you go to a club or an open mic or whatever, they're there to listen to comedy. They're
Right.
drinking or whatever. Just to walk up to somebody who's like walking into a convenience store and go, "Hey, man, got a minute?" I just need a minute 45 of your time.
Do it.
I don't know. We'll see.
Do it at bar closing time.
Oh, that's just stand up.
Right when they're coming out.
Oh, when they're coming out.
Yeah, hey, got a second?
Hey, everybody, real quick. My name's Kevin Kline. I just want to run some comedy past you. I love it. Okay, yeah, all right. That's a good idea. What do you have coming up this week?
Just doing some more yard work. Hopefully, I'll survive that. And then, dude, I'm going to be talking to Ozzy's former bass player.
Oh, how cool is that?
Phil Susan.
Was that Randy Rhoads era?
No, it was Jake E. Lee. It was The Ultimate Sin. This is the guy that wrote Shot in the Dark. And so I'm really excited about that. But yeah, for the most part, just running and chainsawing.
I love it. Okay, you keep doing you. We will have another podcast next week. Merchandise should be out sometime soon. What else do we need to remind them of? Oh, you got to follow and like our stuff. We're all over like Instagram, Tuttle and Kline on Instagram, Tuttle and Kline on Facebook. Please follow and like us. And I'd also like to throw this out, if I could. If you're here and you're like, well, I love you guys did a second date update. You made me laugh. And we used to talk to our friends about second date update and our coworkers and stuff like that. If you can remember any of those people that you used to talk about that with, shoot them a note or a message, or just let them know that Tuttle and Kline now have a podcast. And the more we can get, the better. I would love for our audience to continue to grow and have a good time with us. And let us know what you think of the episode.
Yeah.
Let us. We don't care if you think it sucks or you hate us now or what. That's fine too.
Sure.
I mean, we have pills for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'd love to get feedback on what you think. Okay.
Yep. We enjoy doing this. So thank you so much for listening.
All right. Thank you, Kev. I'll see you, buddy.
You got it, bro. See ya. The Tuttle and Kline podcast is hosted by Tim Tuttle and Kevin Kline. Executive producer, The Intern. It's actually Trish Kline. Join us again next Wednesday, and thank you for listening.